Hey, hello, hello, hello. Can everybody hear me? Just doing a little mic check. Just put a one in the chat for me, please. I think I'm okay. Anyway, hello, Castile, Catilia. I don't know why I keep messing that up. Edward, I see you there. So can y'all hear me or not? I think I'm on. Just put a one. Yeah, all right. Thank you, thank you. Anyway, I don't know. Is anybody tired yet of all the aftermath? I think it's just getting started. Yeah, oh boy, I haven't seen such a bunch of sore losers in my whole entire life. And it's kind of funny. It's sad. It's funny. Uh, don't uh, don't trash talking. Oh, hey, listen, man. Hey, don't worry. I'm not talking about the Bulldog. Hey, listen, hey, college football is college football. But anyway, uh, so you guys know the title of this. We're gonna wait for some folks to come in, but y'all know the title of the show. A few good black men. I had this whole parody I was going to do. I said, it's not going to work. But it's just kind of really, really funny that, we hear all these pundits have really disgraced themselves uh, during this whole election cycle. And it's sad. I mean, the news media has completely uh, canceled itself out. The credibility is completely gone. There's nothing you could believe there in the mainstream media anymore. Matter of fact, the media now is X and YouTube, and unfortunately, some parts of TikTok. But you still have to. What it makes people do is you have to go the extra mile to find the truth about certain matters, and maybe that's a good thing. So nobody should be taking anything that's written or said or spoken on these airways at face value. I think more people are going to start to go fact check on themselves, and that shouldn't be a bad thing. I know that the Democrats want to censor people who have different uh, opinions. At least when they were in power, that's what they were trying to do. That's why they kicked Trump off of X and things of that nature. And it was only the left-leaning things. Even YouTube itself has has a partial censorship that they hide under their guidelines. Hey, Milani. So everybody does that. But I really think that free speech is the best. If I say something you don't agree with, you can go back and fact check. Tell me I'm wrong. What's going on, Trey? You could tell me I'm wrong, and then we could talk about it. I can show facts. You can show facts, and whoever's right, the facts should present them. But people are kind of too lazy, to go ahead and do that extra mile, and do the things they want. So, like I said, the title of this is A Few Good Black Men. And of course, I'm talking about the 21% who decided that, they're going to get off the plantation and, vote for Trump. And there's like 2 or 3% who didn't vote at all. And then the rest of the men decided to stay on the plantation for whatever reason. So I'm not going to say all of those guys are bad dudes, right? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they didn't want to they either believed the words that's on the plantation over the last 5 decades, and they want to stay on the plantation. And I guess that's their right. Maybe their women made them do it. Maybe they're afraid of losing friends and family. And maybe they actually believe in the far left ideology. Some of them do. So what can you say? It takes all kinds. But in 2016, only 9% of black men voted for Trump. And people might have thought that was a lot. Now we're up to 21%. And it took 8 years. That 21% represents 1.5 million men. 1.5 million black men. That's what that 21% represents. I think you could change some shit with 1.5 million men. I really do. You know, so we're going to explore some of those things while we talk about this. Of course, I have some videos, and I have something I wrote up that I want to go over with you guys, and then I have some numbers. So we're going to say we saw the statistics, we saw the bar charts that said who voted for who. And we should look at that and do some more examination. And for that one, it doesn't matter. I think people could come up. We could talk about it while I'm up. I don't have to monopolize that conversation, but we just could step through what I have. When I need to move, I'll just let you know that, hey, listen, I need to go to the next thing, so we could keep it rolling. You know what I'm saying? Um, well, anyway, oh, yeah. Well, anyway, so listen, we're gonna go through those numbers. Yeah, we're gonna go through those numbers, Trey. I got them down. You know what? I had to go dig out my uh calculator. Now that was pretty cool to do, and so I double checked them. Hopefully, they're close to being 100% correct, but I think they are. And we'll get to those in a second. You know, one of the things that I had problems with is the celebrities who let us down. Uh, it was so easy for these elitists to look down, and I hate to use that word, but it's true. They look down on regular people, working people, trying to tell us, admonish us on how to vote, right? So if inflation is 10% and the cost of a loaf of bread has doubled, that's not bothering a guy who's a millionaire. Not really. You know, it's not. It's nothing to him. It's nothing to her. It's easy for them to tell you, "I'll get by it." It's more important to have, a DEI president or a president that's a woman than it is for you to be able to feed your family. And they're saying this to us with a straight face, trying to shame black men. For the most part, it's trying to shame us for not wanting to vote for Kamala Harris. And they're the ones who have put a stain on her, not us. They made her feel like she had to play along with the game. And she just, you know what? All she had to do was come out and say, I'm proud of being an Indian American. I don't think anybody would have gave a shit. If she was a good candidate, nobody was going to care. Hey, man, Joe, what's going on, man? What? Yeah, man, don't look at me, man. I don't know if my camera's out of focus. I can see it. I can see me. I think it goes in and out. I don't have that pristine camera like you do, Mandrell, but I think it's okay. I've been using it for a while. Maybe I'm out of contrast, but thanks for letting me know. Ain't nothing I could do with it. If I start touching my camera now, we're going to end the show. We're going to end the show. So you're going to have to blink to see me go clear, okay? So I'm not fooling with any controls right now, but it's a cheap camera. Once I grow up, I'll probably get a better one. Anyway, man. Oh man, listen to you, man. Anyway, okay. So one of the guys that I really have problems with, it was Stephen A. Smith, right? And I only mentioned him not in the same breath that I mentioned some of the other celebrities. It's because he spent a lot of time talking about how bad Kamala Harris's campaign is. He had more criticism for her than a lot of people. And then when you ask him, why, who are you voting for? He said, well, I'm going to still vote for her. I'm going to still vote for her. But, and so that made me kind of say, wait, what are you saying all this bullshit for? And you're going to still vote for her when you know she's not the best candidate. Well, I don't like Donald Trump. Well, and the things that people say they don't like Donald Trump for, it's the kind of shit that most men don't give a shit that another man is doing. So he tried to make a good business deal, and he inflated his the price of his property, and he got the deal, and the bank had actuaries, and they didn't give a shit because they got their money back. Yeah, everybody who sells a house tries to get more money than what their house is worth. Are we going to start putting all of them in jail? I don't think so. So, you know what I'm saying? So anyhow, so listen, I have some, so Stephen A. Smith is just one of the guys. D.L. Hughley is another guy. And we can just go down Roland Martin. We can just go down the list of these sycophants who try to get us to up to and including Barack Obama and his wife. And it didn't work. And there's reasons why it didn't work. Because people didn't care about that. People were numb to the name calling. People were numb. And the 1.5 million men who decided, hey, listen, you know what? We need better for our families, right? That 21%, that 1.5 million men decided that we could take the slings, the arrows, and all that kind of stuff, and we're going to keep it moving. You know, we're just going to keep it moving. It's 18. I saw 18 in the house. How you doing? Okay. You know, so we're going to keep it moving. And that's what they did. And above all the crap, they just, you know, that the election came and it was a landslide. But I have some numbers I'm going to show you in a minute. You know, the men also, you know, they tend to be, I guess, in tune with what's going on out there. All those 21% say, listen, I don't like unfettered liberalism. I don't think people just being liberal and just doing whatever they want to do is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so they voted against that as well. What's up, boss man? What's happening? You want to come up or you want to try to fix something in the back? Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, I forgot about doing that. Thank you. I forgot about that. Thanks. Anyway, the other thing is, I think most people in that 21% group recognize that leadership comes with a cost. It comes with a cost. If you're going to get off the plantation, you're going to take some, like I said, some bows, some slings, some arrows. You're going to lose some friends. And that whole notion of losing friends because of who you vote for, that's a bad thing in and itself. Yeah, happy Veterans Day to everybody. Yes, forgot about that. I should have started with that. You know, you're gonna have to pay the cost to say, hey, listen, I no longer want to follow, you know, uh, the train that we've been on for the last 50 years. You know, so that's where we're going. That's where we're going with. So I want to share with you something that I wrote up. Now it's not long; it's a one pager, but I kind of try to put it on paper and I put it on my Facebook page. Uh, what I thought about why Kamala Harris lost the election, and you know, and she lost it in grand fashion, which is nice. You know, nobody really could complain about that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna put the link out. You know, so anybody who wants to come up, you got to be on camera, of course. And we're gonna just step through some of this stuff together. But I'm gonna go ahead and get through this first, and then we could talk about it. All right. I think everybody, don't worry about reading it. I can read it to you. But the point really is on this one is I have, you know, during the pandemic, as soon as the pandemic started, what I did was started writing a couple of things. I called it thinking out loud on virtual paper. And I try to keep everything to one page. And the first one I wrote was about the technology that saved everybody during the 2020 lockdowns, you know, because we were able to communicate. I said if that was 20 years earlier, I think it would have been complete chaos everywhere, people being locked down. And we found out how most people needed human touch. So the technology between the two, you know, was something that I guess kept people sane. That and the fact that the liquor store stayed open in New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, the real reason why Kamala Harris lost the election, and I'm gonna just go through some of this, and I'll ad-lib what some of it. So just bear with me while I go through it. Listen, you know, I'm happy that she lost the election, but it's not for the low vibrational reasons that poisons the airways of social media. My reasons are personal, and they have to do more with breaking the mental shackles that the Democratic Party had on African American psyche. And that was what I said months and months and months ago. I didn't really care who the candidates were. I was just tired of the Democrats owning all our votes like we're a monolith voting for them. And it was a mistake back then. It's a mistake now, and it's a mistake in the future. And once we see the charts again, you can start to see when you see it all in one place how it's a glaring inefficient. I don't know if inefficiency is the word, There's a glaring problem with black demographic just voting for one party in the way we do, and the rest of the country has free will to vote the way they want to vote. And you could see their votes scattered all over the place because they're more issue voters, and they're not just being fed some horse shit that everybody believes and passes down generationally. All right. So what happened is, like I said, I was more concerned about the American psyche, and it had more to do with that than undemocratically installed candidate. In other words, Kamala Harris was a casualty of an ideological battle. It's a war that continues to rage for the soul of our country, and it does. You got the people on the right and the far left who just thinks everything should go. I mean, all kinds of debauchery, all kinds of things that they could think of. Everybody should be able to live as an individual and not care about how it impacts the rest of society. I don't agree with that. All right, this election is a blood-soaked band-aid on an infected, festering wound. Right, that's what it is. Right, we're putting a band-aid on a wound that's still there. I don't know if Trump is going to fix that. The majority of people in America have sent a message to the Democrats, and their liberal secularism has gone too far and is tearing apart the fabric of the country. And they're doing it from inside out. Like countries like ours, empires fall from the inside out, and we can see the rot happening on the inside of our country. Right, and it's not just the Democrats' fault, but they're in the power right now, and they're doing a lot of dumb shit. Right, so the party has gotten so drunk with power and wealth, and they're so far out of touch with the common man and woman, they lost their way. So Donald Trump is actually a beneficiary of that battle, whether he deserves it or not. Why else do you think that his proclivities and his propensities have seemingly been, ignored, overlooked by the majorities of Americans? People don't care how bad he is as a man. They just want shit to change, and they can't see that happening with the Democrats. They really can't. So the answer is simple. His personal shortfalls didn't trump, pun intended, the financial and social discontent of the American people. People are discontented. They say, listen, I'll take Trump over the bullshit that we have right now. And that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. So I don't know how anybody could really argue anymore about that. But, the liberals going to have to go through their, I guess, their anger and their 5 stages, whatever they are, of grief with losing. Okay, so I think, like I said, the only disturbing result I see is that African Americans are still stuck in this mental bondage to the Democrats, especially Black women. But this missive is not going to be about them. I'm not going to make this about Black women. They got their own shit they got to deal with. It's about the 21% or better, a few good Black men that have finally made it off the plantation. I think we could focus on that. I think when you have 1.5 million people saying, you know what, this far and no further, I think that's a good thing. I expect the number will double over the next 4 years. That depends on how well Trump does. If the economy keeps rolling, we bring some jobs back. I think that number will increase. I really do. If it doubles, that's great. That means our demographic is starting to look at policy issues and not identity politics. Right? That blind loyalty and dedication to the Democrats could be broken forever. And that's what we need to do. We need to smash that shit and set it on fire. So listen, we're tired of the victimization, the fear mongering, the promotion of woke culture, censorship, propaganda, identity politics, all of this shit so they can stay in power. And they use that mostly on the backs of poor and Black people. So it's like I said, it's time for that shit to end. So black men have found out that there's more things important, more concerns out there than somebody's race and their gender. And so these are the charts. I'm not going to go through this one right here because I have a separate chart for this. But you can see that I included, the race by, race, white and non-white. 71% of the electorate is white. 70, I mean, it's a vast majority. It's like of who voted. And so when you start looking at the numbers, you'll start to see clear why Trump will win. But if this was a SAT question, and they say which one of these or which two of these bars are outliers, they would look right at the African American, the black bar, black men, and especially black women, who are out of balance in terms of who they voted for. And we've been out of balance like that for decades. And I think there's enough receipts to say that this hasn't been good for us. You know what I'm saying? There's enough receipts. So, listen, so one of the things is that I looked at that if 100% of the black folks, men and women, voted for Kamala Harris, Trump would have still won. And I don't think it wouldn't have been that much closer. He would have still won. He would have still had a mandate. I will go through some of the numbers, but he would have still won. And the danger with that is, one, you got one party taking you for granted. And if the other party can win without you, then what the hell do they need to do anything for you, right? That's been that way for quite some time, And the Democrats keep giving promises, but they don't deliver shit. If you go through all the blue states and all the black mayors and look at the inner cities, there are absolute shit show, all of them. And everybody who makes a little bit of money in the black community, all you can think about is moving out. Moving out. We got food deserts, we got crime, we got all kinds of stuff going on. And it seems like nobody sees that. So when your D.L. Hughley and your Charlemagne the Fraud and all these guys get up there and tout their bullshit, they keep ignoring the fact that, man, people are in crisis in the black community or whatever's left of it. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things I think the black men have to do, that 1.5 million dudes, we're going to have to go and try to change and rebuild a new community of the future. I don't know what we're going to call it. It may not even be called the black community, because I don't know if there's going to be enough black women that's going to want to come along for the ride. So I really don't. They don't seem like they want to come along for the ride. A lot of them don't. So not because they want it on their terms. And any man who's any kind of leader, you can't marry a woman on her terms. You just can't. It's just a bad fucking decision. Anyway, so listen, I would suggest that as we move forward, I would suggest that we stop trying to convince women to change. I think we should simply move forward ourselves, and then whatever women wants to change, they'll follow. They'll follow on their own. Women follow leaders. They just do. So we don't need to force that. We just need to move. Men just need to move. And women, you know why women will follow you? Because women can't stand men having spaces they don't belong in. If we started doing some shit that's great and grandiose without women, they will be busting down the doors because they're goddamn nosy. They want to be involved. There's no spaces men have that women haven't intruded on. None. So even if we move forward, the only thing next time we can't acquiesce leadership. You could participate, but you ain't gonna be the leaders. So get that shit out of your head. We've already had that experiment, and this is exactly where we are now. Men at 50, 60, 70-year-olds still sucking on the tits of their mother. That's just gotta stop. It's gotta stop. So finally, finally, let me just come to the reason why Kamala Harris didn't win, right? After all of this shit dragging on. She didn't win because there was nothing in it for men. Nothing in it for men, right? And of course, her liberal policies, her support to liberal policies. I don't know too many men who who would agree to gender altering surgery for minors without their parents' permission. Sex changes for criminals and sex changes for illegal aliens at the taxpayer's expense. I don't know anybody who would agree with that shit. The invasion of men into women's sport spaces. Anybody who has daughters, sisters, mothers, you don't want to swing and Charlie's walking around, you know, while your girls in the locker room. How could you? How could people vote for that? Right? The deconstruction of Title IX. I mean, I'm old enough to know. I'm surprised. I haven't heard too many women talking about this, but Title IX was one of the best pieces of legislation for women that was ever written. The women's lives changed when Title IX was enacted. So Biden and Harris wanted to rewrite it so swinging Charlies could be called women and do what women do in the locker rooms and in sport athletics and everything like that. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Okay. Not to mention the open borders, like letting criminals in. I mean, it's just a laundry list of shit that goes along with Kamala Harris that everybody can, she's a woman, so it's cool. It doesn't matter. How about just abortion on demand instead of, promoting virtue for some women from time to time? How about that? Taxation of unrealized gains. To me, I can't get past it, even though they say it's only for multimillionaires. Shit, I dream of being one of those guys one day. I think those things creep. Warmongering, censorship, squashing, contrarian opinions. That's why Zuckerberg admitted to that. And everybody kind of glossed over in the fact that the Biden administration had deals, the FBI had deals with social media to stop certain speech, whether it was true or not. Runaway inflation, lawfare. I mean, she simply was an unbelievably bad choice for president. And nothing more, nothing less. The United States will eventually, have a woman president, but it wasn't her. It wasn't time yet, and it wasn't Kamala Harris. That's as simple as that. So I'm gonna let you gentlemen up. There you go. Go ahead, TJ. I see TJ. I said it right the first time. There you go.
Yeah. Can you hear me
Yeah.
pretty?
Can you guys hear me? What's going on, Trey?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I do. Trey,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yep, I got you. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, man. I listen. I just do some of this together, and I had to tell people in my family why I voted, why I thought Kamala Harris lost. So I wrote this all out for them, so I didn't have to try to explain it to them. They could read it on their own. You know. Um, so, what's your thoughts, man? What's your thoughts? Why do you think she lost, Trey? And we'll get to you, TJ.
Uh, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons as to why she lost. I think a lot of it has to do. I think that she played in the face of the people who would have voted for her. I think they turned the party into an elitist party, which I think was a huge mistake. I think they tried to run on a single issue, which was also a huge mistake. I don't think that was ever going to work. Um, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons, a lot of different reasons why she lost. But I think overall, she lost because they never. I think the American public. Well, two reasons. I think the American public didn't respect the fact that she didn't go through a primary, and I also think that the working they lost touch with the working class, and I think that Trump um, he exploited that. He was not afraid to go into barbershops and factories. He went there. He went and sat down and talked with them. I think he understood that, and ultimately it proved him to be right. So I think you know there was a like I said before, her campaign was either going to be one that they were going to mimic in the future had she won, or that they were going to ball up and toss in the trash as a cautionary tale if she lost. I watched the wreath laying ceremony today, and boy, they look cold. I mean, they look, and I don't mean physically cold as in they were shivering because it was a warm day here in DC. It was almost 70 degrees. Um, they look cold towards each other. I know that a lot of the blame has been placed on Biden, which I am confused because he cleared the way for her to do what she did. The only thing he could have done was passed away to just actually make her the president. Outside of that, but he cleared the way so that she could have an opportunity, and then they're going to turn around and blame him. So there's a lot of, to me, our opinion, there's a lot of different reasons that make up why she lost. So I think ultimately the two things was turning that Democratic Party into an elitist party, running on a single issue, and not connecting with the middle. I mean, with the working class. You're on mute. We didn't hear that.
I heard an echo, so I turned it off. Go ahead, TJ. Go ahead.
I really can't disagree with much what Trey was saying about why she lost. The Democratic Party in itself has, the one thing about us as Americans, I don't care if black, white, whatever, we all suffer from short-term memory loss. You know what I mean? And we have forgotten that the Democratic Party historically, I'm talking about post-Reconstruction, that the Democratic Party was always seen as the party of the middle class, the working man, the common man. It's always been the common man party. And as the mid 90s into the 2000s started rolling on, they started shifting away from understanding, what working class people actually needed. And then they actually started misunderstanding what the majority of black people actually needed. They started marginalizing the men of the black community who are historically, and I hate to use the word conservative because our Payne, you and I got into this before, but just for lack of for continuity, most black men, they're center, but they lean conservative. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I
We're
got you.
center, but we lean towards the quote unquote conservative ideology. We're gonna get to the philosophy of the two. And the Democratic Party was hijacked by progressives and the weirdness, and then every social issue that the progressives had, they wanted to try to link it back to black folks' struggles throughout this country, which further divided, and then a whole bunch of stuff. Kamala Harris was a flawed candidate from the start.
Oh yeah.
And the Democrats, if they had any shot of beating Donald Trump, was very beatable. He was very, very beatable. People don't really realize how beatable Donald Trump actually was. But when the Democrats did what they did in pushing Harris out there in the manner that they did it, it left a bad taste in the mouth of a lot of people who were centrist. You know what I mean? Especially Democratic centrists. Trump, a lot of Democrats crossed over and voted for this man, and they don't want to acknowledge the fact that most people, including in the Democratic Party, don't care nothing about the men who want to be called the women.
Mm-mm.
For that, the
Oh,
men get to play girl sports, go in the bathroom with our daughters, the crap that they're trying to teach in school. They have, and when I was watching The View, which I've never watched it, but I watched it a couple of days ago, they seriously do not understand why their viewpoint is a problem from a national standpoint, from a whole standpoint. They believe they're more interested in being right, and they're dead ass wrong, but they're more interested in being right than actually winning. They have no idea that their philosophy has set up where Donald Trump can get a second presidency. I'm just saying, if you don't like this man, he gets a second term at the presidency, and he's going to have, not if, he's going to have two more cracks at appointing Supreme Court justices, which is going to forever change the landscape of this country, probably for the next 100 years. Because each person he appointed to the Supreme Court, they were young.
Yeah,
These are people that are going to be there for the next 30, 40 years, and he's going to get 2 more cracks at it. And so anything that these so-called Democrats or progressives, their issues that they want out in the forefront, it's dead in the water now. There's nothing they can do with the control of the Senate, the presidency, and now the Supreme Court. They're
I
absolutely
think
done.
they're going to get the House too. So
Right, and
about
they're
to
going
get
to get
the
the
House.
House. So this is a wrap. Now, here's where they went wrong at. 2 years ago, we all saw with our own 2 fucking front eyes, 4 or 2 eyes, Joe Biden falling upstairs. We saw that shit 2 years ago that he couldn't walk upstairs without falling. We saw 2 years ago that he would get lost walking from the podium to a door. We saw that shit in real time 2 years ago. They should have announced 2 years ago that this man wasn't running. And they should have had a full-fledged open primary on the Democratic side. If they chose not to do that, then what he should have did when he dropped out of the race, he should have resigned the presidency.
All right. So yeah, man. You know what? I hear
Because
you.
he should have resigned the presidency, and what it would have done. Let's play devil's advocate. What it would have done. Let's just play devil's advocate, because not everybody interview. Like, some people are really good at a job, but they can't interview for the job well.
Right,
I'm not saying Kamala Harris will be good for the job, but just go along with me. If he would have resigned the presidency instead of just backing out, it would have gave her an opportunity to have on the job what she would have did. And if I was her advisor, the first thing I would have done, if she would have been able to ascend to the presidency, is the first on day one, I would have disavowed every fucking thing that he ever did, even if I agreed with him. And then I would have took the next 5 months. But the Democrats are stupid. They're stupid, and they cater to a small niche population of their electorate.
Right.
And here we go. We got Donald Trump for a second term.
Well, you know what? I mean, listen. First of all, I hear you. I say I don't have any issue with Donald Trump at all. I don't know. Well, because he had a couple of whatever the things that they want him for is shit that I don't worry about. It's just me, but I'm not like he's just him and Kamala is just a victim of the circumstances that we're in. But here's the thing I think about Donald Trump, and people don't want to give him credit for. The guy has a common touch. For a rich man, he has a natural common touch. I mean, he just goes with the flow there. And we've seen him, the same people who hate him now, watch The Apprentice every goddamn Thursday. Right? I mean, all I'm just trying to say is this hatred for Donald Trump is manufactured. All the same people they were hanging out with him before he wanted to run. He's not part of the party guy. Let me go back to Kamala Harris. I don't think there's any way you can put lipstick on that one. I really don't. I don't care how much prep she had. She was not going to be a great president. She's not. She wasn't. She just didn't have the temperament. We don't need that kind of president right now. And right now, I think we need a man. I'll say it. I think we need a man. There'll be time for a woman to be president. She wasn't it. They could have went through all these machinations to try to get her in there. Even when they kicked Biden out, they should have used Amendment 25. They should have 25th his ass right then. Even it was, she should have been president for all the time she was running if they were going to do it. Even whether it was 2 years or 3, 4, 5 months. That's what they should have done. Because as long as he was relevant as president, he sabotaged her every chance he got. Every chance he got.
The thing that they should have done, our Payne, was announced 2 years ago when it was evident that his noodle was.
But you said 2 years ago. They wasn't going to do that shit 2 years ago.
But see, that's when they screwed up. That's ground zero for them. When we saw that,
I think we should be happy that they screwed up. I mean, I'm thinking if we call it screwed up, I think they screwed up longer than that. I think they screwed up when they started going for gender affirming care and all this liberalism bullshit. That's when they screwed up. It wasn't just 2 years ago.
I understand that, but I'm talking about for those who are upset about the Trump being reelected. Yeah, they screwed up 2 years ago because Kamala would not have made it through a primary. She would not have.
I hear you, but they didn't do that, right? So we just we can only talk about what they did do, And when they did do what they did for her, she first got the media and everybody was trying to propel her. She started from being, and they were lying all the way, right? She got all of this publicity free. I think what they call it, the media was giving her free. Hey, what's going on, Evan? They were giving her free, what you call it, like not advertising. You're supposed to give the other candidate equal time, but I forgot what it's called. There's a law about what they did. They were breaking the law all the way because they were 100% pro Kamala Harris, all the media outlets except Fox. And, so they propelled her, right? And then they were lying to American people. She got these poll numbers were lies. I don't give a shit. I mean, let's forget about what they could have did 2 years ago. They didn't do. All right. So all I'm just trying to say is it's a good thing they fucked up 2 years ago, and it's a good thing she's not president now. Now, not to say that Trump was the best, but I think if she was running against anybody else, she should have lost. That's what I'm saying.
For all the people who say that Trump isn't the best, who was better?
Yeah.
Who's a better option? Ron DeSantis?
Ron DeSantis.
He didn't have no traction though outside of Florida.
But I always find it funny we talk about who was better, but listen, at the end of the day, 74 million people agree that this is the guy they want.
Yeah.
Right. And I do think the country is ready for a female president. I'm not completely sure who the female president will be or when that will happen, but is the country ready? Yeah, the country's prepared.
Their best shot.
I think the idea. So here's to me what let me know that she wasn't prepared. The night that she lost, instead of coming out and conceding the loss, she ran away. And I find it very interesting that that's only happened twice, especially in like the last 50 years. It's only happened twice. And it happened to both female candidates. Both female candidates did not do it. They did not come out and address the crowd. They waited until the next day. Hillary Clinton did the same thing. I find it to be quite odd. I find it to be quite interesting. And this is where I'm saying, like, when the rubber meets the road, women have a tendency to sort of fold up, right? Especially when they're losing. We're looking at all these videos on social media. These women are screaming into cameras and yelling and throwing things. They just can't handle it. Just can't handle it. You lost. And at the end of the day, as an American, your responsibility is to be prepared for whichever candidate wins, to be quite honest. It has nothing to do with who you actually wanted to win. Your job is to be prepared for both of them. Well, this could go either way, right? Whether the guy you wanted to win or not. And so I just find it quite interesting that, the real colors of who she is. And I've heard some other things, 90% of her staff, turnover rate and her staff is, these things are important. You can't keep anybody. People don't want to work for you. Even the night of, there was a Asian female that literally came out and they were already pointing fingers and saying, this is your fault and blaming it on Tim Walz and they never should have picked them. It's just, to me, a leader, and I've been, point guards, I've been captains of teams. Even when you lose, you still try to create unity within your team. You don't start pointing out, well, you dropped a pass here or you missed a pass there. We don't do that. We fix those problems in practice going forward. The practice here would be, the primary coming up in 2 years, obviously. Excuse me, the midterms coming up in 2 years, and then getting ready for a run at 2028. You fix the things that you essentially jacked up. And the number one thing is you got to get off these elites. You got to leave these celebrities alone.
Right,
they're not helping you.
Trey, I got a question.
They're not helping you.
I got a question. And I'm not trying to pick a fight. And trust and believe, I am not pro Kamala. Not at all. Anybody would tell you, fuck her. You know what I mean? But I said we suffer from short-term memory loss. We talked about, Kamala didn't come out. That was just awful for her. But guess who else did not concede their election? The current president-elect never conceded to this day to Joe Biden. The current president-elect went on a damn near a 2-year rampage trying to overturn the results of the election. So I don't, so I really don't want to, so while Kamala, and Hillary both did not come out and do what they did, we can't negate the fact that Trump did the exact same thing as well. But
Yeah,
we,
okay.
we tend to forget the bad behaviors of Trump or the temperatures of Trump because we have more of a dislike for the Kamala Harrises of the world when they did equal stuff. So I don't
Well,
like
that depends on who you're talking to.
I don't have a dislike for Kamala.
Yeah,
Trump had a perfectly good reason of why he was not conceded. He truly believed that there was interference.
But there wasn't,
yeah.
though.
He truly believed that.
Well, there's 20 million votes that nobody could find anymore, right?
Somebody needs to explain to me how Joe Biden got 81 million,
Yeah,
but Kamala can only get 70.
Because she's a flawed candidate.
You mean to tell me?
yeah,
You mean to tell me 11 million
get
people?
that.
11 million people stayed home?
Yes. Yes.
No,
I don't believe
no.
that. I don't believe that.
If you look at the chart, though, Barack Obama only got what 70. He didn't get. He got a lot. You can look at the chart. It was just this. It's like an outlier.
Right.
If you look at the charts.
Do you understand how badly the country had Trump fatigue at the end of his first term? People would have elected you, Mr. Payne, if you would have ran against Trump.
Now, but let me tell you something, TJ. I think if there wasn't COVID, he would have had a second term.
No.
Yeah, I believe that.
No. Trump
yes,
was
I do. Yeah, it's easy to say.
Absolutely. He mishandled COVID. He absolutely mishandled COVID. And it hurt him.
Yeah, it hurt him.
Trump was he was one temper tantrum after the next with that man. We forget how chaotic his presidency was. And then we talk about his staff turnover. He had just as much turnover as Kamala Harris.
Okay. All right. So listen. Forget about the personality. How was the country running? Were we in war? Was people at bay? He held people at bay. He did. He made better deals with our foreign trading partners. So that made a difference to people who were working. I mean, they didn't care that he was doing all this stuff.
Got invaded. You think if Hillary Clinton would have won that election instead of Donald Trump, we would have got invaded? Is that what you think, Mr. Payne?
You're going to extremes. I'm saying, who knows where Hillary Clinton could have got us in World War III. She was a warmonger. I mean, all I'm just trying to say is we can't keep doing what it could have. We know what he did when he was in office.
And what did he do?
And when he was in office, besides people, his temperature champion, which we weren't around, we had better trade deals. We had all kinds of things going on. Listen, and that COVID is the thing that messed him up, which messed up a lot of people. And so it's not that he was perfect. It's that more people I know looking back on that time between 16 and 20, they were doing financially better. That's what people go to. I mean, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about all his proclivities. We're not. And so, all I'm just trying to say is that doesn't mean he's a great guy. He's not a great guy. So what?
Donald Trump did not inherit a good economy. Right. Are you saying Donald Trump did not inherit a good economy?
Oh man, stop it, man! Stop.
He did.
Stop.
He inherited an improved economy.
Yes, and that's okay.
He inherited an improved economy.
But you're going to the point where you're going to say his 4 years was nothing because he got something for, just like Biden said, his shit was messed up because of Trump, and then Trump's shit was great because of Obama. Why are we even talking? You were responsible for your 4 years, period.
Biden's last 2 years of the economy is absolutely the result of that reckless tax credit that they passed. This is what we tend to do because there's a new guy. Because there's a new figurehead in that White House. We forget that sometimes policy like bills, tax cuts, policies. We tend to forget that it actually takes time for that stuff to actually affect the entire country. And one man, a president, doesn't necessarily control 100% of what happens to the economy. Now he can affect it. He's not a fucking dictator. He doesn't.
What's your argument here? Because I'm confused and I don't understand what your point is. What's your argument? Is your argument is that we living in the present and we're forgetting about all the things that Trump has done?
My argument is this. is that the things that we're basting Kamala Harris for, we've seen it before in the other president. And I'm not defending Kamala. I just don't like the fact that we sit up here and we want to
That's not true.
pretend
What
that
you just said is not true.
Okay.
What you just said is really not true. Kamala Harris never was president before, so we can't compare apples and oranges. She was going to be a bad president because she just doesn't look like she was good for the job. Trump was in the job before. Whether you like him or not, he was president, but he got elected twice by the people. You know, so that means something. You know,
But
so we can't just discount that. So we ain't just comparing him to Kamala Harris.
And I don't think he was a good
didn't look like she was going to be good for the job.
No,
you know, from her party standpoint.
You and I do not disagree on that because I did not vote for Kamala Harris. So you and I don't disagree. The fact that
you know what? Before we go on, I do want to play this video. I do want to play a video. I do want to, because it's kind of germane to what we're talking to right now. There's a lady talking about why we got to where we are from what the Democrats did. Okay. And I want to hit this, and we could come back to our conversation. Oh, God. Yeah. All right. Did I do it right? Yep.
Lean increasingly left towards the Democrats, and working class people, aspirational Americans, the middle class, go to the right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We've seen a massive political realignment in America along class lines. So the biggest divider in America is not actually left versus right, as everybody saw on election night. It's the elites versus the working class. It's the credentialed, college-educated people who work in the knowledge industry and people who work with their hands for a living, people who don't have a degree. And what happened over the last 50 years was the Democrats created an economy that was an upward transfer of wealth from the working class, the hardest working Americans, into the pockets of the elites, the chattering class, the political class, the economists who were creating this policy. And as a result, working class Americans of all races stopped seeing themselves reflected in the Democratic Party. And when Trump showed up on the scene, it's really amazing, Rita. How did he get all these Democrats to vote for him? He simply lifted the Democrats' pro-labor, pro-working class economic agenda right off of them. It was the Democrats who used to believe we need a strong border to protect working class wages. It was the Democrats who used to be in favor of trade wars and tariffs to protect the labor of American workers. And Donald Trump showed up and said, wow, no one is representing 60% of Americans. Come home. And that is exactly what he did. And now we're seeing the fruits of that labor as he walks away with millions and millions and millions of voters who were Democrats 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and 5 years ago.
It's incredible, that political realignment, lifelong Democrats now switching to Trump, switching to the Republicans. And you talked about the divide is a class divide. It's not a race, gender, and all the other issues that the media is hyper-focused on. And the data from the exit polls shows that the majority of households whose incomes were under $100,000 for the household voted for Trump. And the majority of households with an income of over 100,000 voted for Harris, and the numbers almost perfect there. And do you see that changing? Do you see this political realignment sticking for the foreseeable future?
It all depends on where the parties go from here.
Let me stop it right there for a second. Anybody have any comments on that right now? I just want to stop that for a second. We'll go from here. Any thoughts? That what she said? I mean, I agree with when she's talking.
I don't know if Trump said come home, but but I do know that he definitely spent a lot of time with the working class. I think that whomever, I forgot the lady's name, but she's going to be the chief of staff now. Got her name. Whoever's running his campaign.
Yeah.
I think they saw something there. They saw an opening there and they took it. And I do agree with TJ. He was beatable. Like he didn't run a clean, foolproof campaign. And he had moments, and I honestly didn't think that he won the debate. I think he had his moments in the debate, and I thought overall she got him. She got him majority of the time because he played into her hand. So he was
Yeah.
definitely beatable.
Yes, he did.
But I think that he recognized something, and that something was, yeah, there's a bunch of people who, remember, there are more uneducated than educated. Only about 34, 35% of the population has a college degree. So
Mhm.
he realized that, and he went after them, and it works. And people who work with their hands, people who don't have college degrees, their votes matter too. And I think that's the message, overarching message. I think that was sent. I think that when they look back, are paying at this down the line, they look back at this. That's going to be the thing that they're going to take away from this, is that there were a bunch of people who were uneducated that actually determined who was the next president.
And the Democratic Party keeps telling their constituents that they're stupid. Every chance that they get, they tell us how stupid we are, or that we don't. Look, they don't say the word stupid. They just go, I don't think they got all the information. I don't think they quite understand. Look, we need, like they're like, just because somebody doesn't have a college degree, that don't mean that they don't fucking understand. That don't mean that they're stupid. You understand? And the thing is, with Trump, what he came in and did is Trump has the ability. The one thing about being an entertainer is the fact that you can be a chameleon. And I'm saying Trump, not saying
Right.
Trump is a chameleon.
No,
But
he's
Trump knows how to come in and play the role. He did the thing that that whoever was his campaign manager was brilliant, because
Yes, he was.
they peeled off 20%, over 23% of the black male vote, because they smelt a rat in the Democratic Party about the fact that they had stopped giving two shits about what black men want for their, or the fact that black men actually want families. Donald Trump spoke to that. So and it started years ago when they started distancing themselves, kind of right after the Charlottesville crap, the Jews were replaced crap. The
Right.
Republican Party started distancing themselves from that fringe of their party, and they started slowly talking to black men and Hispanic men who voted for him the Hispanic men voted for him at a 45% clip,
I know.
which blew away. And I think I said this, our Payne, the last time we were up here. The Democrats are dumb, because we saw this play before in the late 80s and 90s when I was a kid, when all of those people came over from Cuba. The Democrats were the one that were encouraging Florida. It was Democratic controlled Florida accepting the Cuban people that were fleeing Cuba and petitioning the United States to make them, to give them citizenship and stuff like
Right.
that. And with those people, the one thing that the Democrats misunderstood was their culture. So the moment they got citizenship, was able to vote, those Cubans flipped Florida red because they're conservative. It's the same thing with the Hispanics coming out of Central America and Mexico. These Hispanics, they're fucking Catholics.
Well,
They're not
they also said that a lot of them, like the Cubans, flee from socialism, and
Right.
they can smell it. They can smell it a mile away, and they can see the left going that way.
And that's where the Democrats are. They think because Democrats have this savior complex. That's why I think that they're more racist than the Republicans.
Well,
because
it's not a savior complex. It's socialists. It's more than a savior complex.
Well,
It's
that's
real fascism.
Yes, that's at its core. That's the hook. We're going to save you. We're going to do this. We're going to offer you this. We're going to give you that. And then they get in, and then these people start voting for. When they're able to vote, they're voting for their culture, how they're raised, their belief systems, what's best for their families, and what and my daughter being able to go to a bathroom with a dude ain't with my belief system. I got pulled last year. I got pulled into HR because some dude at the job wanted to be called a girl, and I called him by mistake because I didn't know. And then I had to go to HR because the dude complained about the fact that I called him a him, and I didn't know him changed himself to a she. But then when I was in HR, I said, well, it's against my religion to do that, and then that's how I got out of that shit. But
well, let me.
But that's the Democrats for you, man.
For you guys.
They're fucking us. Yeah, they're screwing themselves by abandoning their original principle, which is the champion of the common working class man. That was the home for most people, for working class people, the Democratic Party was their home because that's what the Democrats stood on. And then all of a sudden they decided to latch on to every fringe issue out there. And now when you got Bill Maher, who's like as progressive as they get, telling the Democrats you guys are flying over the cliff, you know you got a problem.
No, well, they do. Well, let's continue a little bit. I got to make sure I hit the right whatchamacallit with this. Let's continue. I want to hear some more, or just a couple of clips.
So the GOP before Trump showed up was all neoliberalism. It was, free markets. And then there was, of course, the neoconservative piece of it. So it was, foreign wars and free markets, right? And social conservatism. None of those things resonate with working class Americans. They're anti-war, they hate free trade, and they're social moderates. They're not conservatives. They don't like abortion bans. Now, if the GOP after Trump goes right back to its version pre-Trump, the way the donor class is desperate for it to do, then of course they're going to lose all these voters as well. If the Democratic Party learns the lesson here, which is don't call people racist for wanting to feed their children, right? If they go back to their embrace of strong borders, they could very easily win back a lot of these voters. The problem is that their donor class, the George Soroses of the world, want that open border. They really don't believe in nation states. They really don't believe in putting Americans first. And so,
all right, so I'm stopping a little bit again, okay? Because, well, that, oh, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. Let me get rid of that. All right. I'm still working the controls. It seems like it moves on me all the time. There you go. Anyway, listen, we kind of touched on this. Not only did the Democrats misunderstand the electorate, right? I mean, they actually called the people who wanted to vote for Trump all kinds of names, right? They condescended to black men. They condescended to men in general. They said, well, you don't have any real free thought. The only reason why you didn't vote for Kamala is because you're a misogynist. Now, after a while, you get tired of somebody claiming you're something which you're not, and that you don't have no real reasons not to vote for her other than she's a woman and you hate women. I mean, it's like the lowest common denominator of an argument, right, to name call. And they did it on a grand scale, and from my standpoint, I'm saying, how do you expect to win anything? So she says something. One, this is Trump's to mess up, right? In the next 4 years, if all this is hooey and it's business as usual and the Republicans turn back into the Tea Party, that's one thing. Or if the Democrats get their shit together and all of a sudden start talking differently, which is going to sound really phony to me, I don't see how they're going to, first of all, I don't see how the Democrats are going to turn around that fast. They're going to spend the next 4 years hating on Trump. They're going to spend more time doing that than improving their station with people. We could tell that right away.
That's
I mean, I don't see it changing. Go ahead.
Because they think they're right. They think they're right, and they're not.
Yeah, okay. Well, for whatever reason, there's got to be one or two voices of reasons in the Democratic Party somewhere. Somewhere. And what I'm saying is, well, what I said is what I said. So I think we're going to hear them at every turn try to say, if Donald Trump does this, we need to do this to stop him. You know what the new proposal is right now is for Biden to step down so he can make Kamala Harris a DEI president. Right? Just give her the presidency for the last 2 or 3 months so it could look like she became the first black female president. I mean, first of all, I don't think he'll do that.
That would be a slap in the face. That would be like saying that she was incapable of doing it on her own, so we gave it to her. So I don't know that they'll do that.
I don't think he's going to. He can't stand her. He ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do that for her.
Listen, if you watch that wreath laying ceremony today, you realize I don't even think they like each other anymore. I think that he feels some kind of way about them blaming this on him. And I think that he took a huge risk in stepping down, or saying, "Look, I'm not going to run," to clear the way for her. And I think you only do that because you believe that she can win. And, if otherwise, he would have said, "Listen, I can still win." And I got to be honest with you. Now, looking at it, had he probably stayed in the race, maybe puts up a better fight. I'm not sure, but I think he cleared the way. He cleared the way so that she could win, and she did. And like I said before, there's a lot of different reasons as to why. Just as if the roles were reversed and Trump lost, there'd be a lot of different reasons of why he lost, right? But I think the biggest issue that I think the Democratic Party will have going forward is, how do you get the working class back on your side? Look at that map. Look at that map and see where all that red is. It's right in the heart of the country. It's right in the middle, and that tells you that this is about people who work for a living. And like I said, look, Beyonce is not going to help you get the cost of eggs down lower or your gas lower, right? Cardi B is not going to help you pay for any bills. Now we'll put more
Nope.
money in your pocket, right? Who else? Who else do they have? Uh, Whatever celebrity is not going to help you with unemployment. There are people. I just watched something that said it's a chick that's been unemployed since 2023. You know what I mean? Like that. This type of stuff actually affects everyday normal people, regular people, and these people have a vote, and they need to address that. And if they're choosing not to address it, I think it's an open lane for JD Vance to just go right into being the president if they don't fix this. And they have to find a way to identify. And if I'm running the DNC, if I'm running anything, that's the message I would be putting out. Spend the next 4 years in connecting with the working class so that we don't lose them come 2028.
Okay. Yeah, man, my computer is like messing up here. Damn it. What the hell is going on? Anyway. Yeah, I agree with you, Trey. I don't know what we're gonna do. Let me see if I can. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I
Oh
can
yeah,
hear you.
here
All
we
right.
go.
Hey, so let me go ahead and finish some of this, what this lady's talking about, see if I can do something with my computer. I might have to go out and come back in.
Trey, I'm gonna say this. The one thing that when she got into the race, I never once thought that she was ever going to win. I thought it was going to be a landslide. I thought she was going to get stomped out. I don't know where people were getting their information from. The one thing that I decided to accept, Trey, after Donald Trump got elected,
Can y'all hear me?
I
Oh,
decided,
is it
yeah,
frozen?
I decided to accept that polling information is false.
Okay.
I decided to accept that whatever I'm hearing from polling is false. And what I started to do is I started to believe what I was seeing in my community and in the rural areas where I'm traveling to. I started believing what I was actually seeing. We saw Trump victory coming in 2016 if you were paying attention. You saw this landslide coming if you were listening, especially when you had the volume of black men coming out saying, "I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired." Now, the thing that caught everybody off surprise was those 45% of fucking Hispanic men. That's what caught people off guard. You know what I mean? That right there. But this was not. I don't understand, with all the resources at their disposal, the Democrats, the DNC's disposal. How did they not know this was not going to happen?
I think there was a little bit of arrogance when it comes
Yeah,
to the Democratic Party. I think that a lot of them already thought we kind of have this in the bag. And I got to be honest with you, when they announced it was her, I said it's just going to be a struggle for him because it's a woman. You know what I mean? Like he
that's
has
what.
a tendency to not be able. He has a tendency to not be able to control himself sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's just like, oh man, like I think if it were a man, he'd be fine. But when I was like, oh, it's gonna be Kamala, I was like, she's going to push certain buttons, and he's not going to be able to resist the opportunity, you know what I mean, to be, a chauvinist or to be, any of those things. I will say, I think he did a pretty good job in at least trying to hold that at bay. I'm sure there's a lot of things he really wanted to say that he didn't
Yes.
say, and I think that came with experience over the last two elections that he realized, I'm not going to win if I do that. If I go at her this way, I'm not going to win.
This was a very toned down Trump. I gotta admit that. And every time that they would say something stupid, like calling his people garbage, and then he turns up in the garbage, he puts in a whole day at the damn,
Brilliant. It was brilliant.
I was so damn mad
Brilliant.
because as much as I didn't like him, I was like, that was some gangster shit right there, boy. And you hate when that's how you know when somebody that you don't like and they do something so good, and you gotta grit and bear it. Like, yeah, that was it right there. When he did that shit,
and you also have and the other part of this is too, subliminally, a garbage truck represents the common man.
the common man.
That's right.
Subliminally, that represents a hardworking, everyday, American. So you called him trash. He went and got out of trash. You know what I mean? Like I don't think the Democratic Party really kind of thought a lot of these things through. You know what I mean? And had they thought it through, they would have been able to work it. And I'll say something else. Obama did not help you.
No,
Obama did not help.
No,
He didn't help. And going forward, I would tone down their appearances. I would have them speak maybe once at the DNC, and I would leave it at that. I don't think that either one of them helped at all.
I got a relative that is they're not but on the periphery of the Obamas. He didn't want to, from what they're saying, and this is just all rumor and innuendo. He had to be talked into coming out and supporting her. There's apparently some fracturing over there too. And so that's why you didn't see Obama throughout the 100 days, whatever. That's why he came in at the last minute. It was kind of like he was pulling teeth. And then the narrative that he came out with, was lecturing black men and stuff like that. I was told that wasn't his either.
I wonder if he did it on purpose. Now, he's a smart man. I wonder if he did it. He knew that it was sabotage her. Because people don't understand politics. Politics is very like that.
Why would he do that?
Yes, because like what TJ said, maybe he didn't want to go out there in the first place.
Yeah,
and maybe maybe he has a loyalty to the Democratic Party. Obviously, it put him in power for 8 years, so maybe he felt like, okay, I got to go do something. Because to me, listen, I'm not the biggest Obama fan, but I have a lot of respect for what he represents as a black man for young black boys. That much I can get with, right? But to me, it just seemed out of character. Like when I was watching it, like it just seemed out of character. It's like that doesn't sound like something he would do,
And he looked uncomfortable doing it. Now, so I wish the person was closer in, so they're getting it like secondhand, thirdhand information, whatever. So so I got to be honest about the fact that this is not as strong of information, but they're based on the visuals that you saw him. Based on him doing that seemed to be very politically out of character. He would have never done this under his campaign. If he was campaigning, he would have never done that. That could be some merit to the fact that he did not want to do that. Look, when Joe Biden went to that rally and put on a Trump hat, I knew there was problems.
Sabotage. I'm telling you, that's sabotage in my opinion.
He's sabotage.
Hey, Casina, can you tell me something that Trump said he was also going to do that was positive? Because you know what I love about this, right? We can always remember all the things that Trump said that's crazy. The crazy things. I'll be a dictator, and I'm going to give the police immunity and all that. Tell me about something positive, because he said some positive things too. He said some things that he really wants to change, like no more child sex changes. I left that out. We won't talk about that. You know what I mean?
He went on
like
a good rant for that one.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like there's always a certain agenda of, oh, well, he'll be a dictator. He can't be a dictator. Free branches of government.
Overtime. My overtime.
Yeah, exactly.
My overtime checks is bigger than my actual base pay. So, if they can not tax that
I'd like to
overtime,
see
my
him pull
God.
that, I'd like to see him pull that one off. Listen, I do want to go through some numbers. I'm not no video this time, but that kind of shows. Well, we could talk about them because this, you've seen these charts before, but there's a lot of information we could talk about from the charts. So I put some stuff together and I went through the numbers, and I think we can go through it. It'll be good commentary. This way we could be the side. We can speak while I'm going through it. So I just want to keep this moving. And hey, Kasim, if you want to come up, man, the link is in there. So if you want to defend your position, you can. Here it is. All right. Let me see how it looks. All right. So this is big enough, and I guess this is okay since we're over here talking. All right. So I'm going to slide this up. This is a chart we're all familiar with, right? And I added this top one because if you look at the entire electorate, right, there's 71% of the folks who voted were white, right? And here's the breakdown. Blue is Kamala, red is green, red is what we call it. I guess you guys can see this, correct? And then the non-whites, 64 to 33. Now, included in the non-whites, of course, are the black folks, okay? I just wanted to make sure that's clear, right? So I did some calculations. So we looked at the numbers based on the total amount of people who voted. And I want to go through that with you guys because I wanted to do a what if scenario. I did a what if scenario if 100% of black folks voted for Kamala Harris, right? So let me go to this chart. So I had to do some numbers here. So, of course, the total number of voters was 146 million plus the total number of whites, 71% of that is 103 million, 103.7 million. The total number of non-whites, you can see this in this green section up here, 42.3.4 million. The number of black women who voted was 10 million. Based on this number, that's 7% of that number, right? And 5% of the number for black men was 7.3 million. So here's the what if scenario. What if 100% of black men and black women voted for Kamala Harris? What would have changed? Right. So, of course, we go back to this number here for the total number of non-whites. It was 27 million. Okay. If 100% of all of these people voted, not 100%, the 7% that went for Trump, you add that number, and the 21% that went for Trump, you add that number back into the Harris pot. Now we have 7 million men have 7 million voters, but 1.5 million of those voters actually went for Trump, which is a good thing, right? That's a lot of new soldiers getting off the plantation. All right, so that would change the total number of non-whites to 29 million, as opposed to 27 million. So the percentage of non-whites who voted for Harris went from 64 to 69 if you include 100% of the black vote, right? So the chart will look like this what if chart here, right? It's still 20, no matter what, it's still only 29% of the total electorate, but 69% of them went to Harris. That wouldn't have changed the outcome of the election.
It would have depended on where those votes.
Yeah, but you're right. But you could, if you look at each state, right? And I don't have all that, and you're right. It might have swung a state or two, but that I guess 2.2 million would have been spread over all 50 states. And if we just said the swing states, were any of those swing states that close that the black vote would have made that difference? If you evenly distributed all of those extra votes over the swing states that he lost, would that have changed it? Would that have changed? And I don't think it would have. I don't think any of those races were that close. So you take what it was, 7 swing states, You take 2.2 million, you divide it by that evenly. That's the bad math, but still, that's 3 million votes. Maybe. I don't know.
It would have. It would have. It would have. Let's just say if they were concentrated, like in what they call the blue wall, it would have affected that. But as far as the popular vote, no, it wouldn't have affected it at all. But
so I guess further study could go say, hey, would it have affected, because that's what they say. That's where they say the black vote comes in those blue states and those states where most of us are concentrated in. I'm not so sure that I don't know. I'm so sure it would have changed things.
Here's the bigger thing, our Payne. Based on the numbers, only half the country voted.
Yeah, well,
we got over 300 million people. So if there's only 140,
they got to be eligible voters.
Yeah, that's true too.
So I don't know how many didn't. I don't know what give or take 50 million. I don't know. So, but I just thought it would be an interesting exercise because the truth of the matter is, even if you don't do the numbers, this number here where black women and black men overwhelmingly stay on the plantation, I just think that that's still part of the psychosis that we have. And the reason why, if I made a parallel to back in the day, which a lot of people like to do, when slavery was ended, there was a fair amount of slaves who stayed and worked the land for the masters.
Yep, they became
right, because they were afraid of what the future held. You get off the plantation from the physical shackles. They didn't know what freedom looks like. So now I'm thinking that we've been, and I say we, but men less than women have been coddled and shackled mentally to this one party that we don't know how to get off the plantation. It's scary out there. Oh, we have some people crying. I'm gonna wake up this morning. She had to be trolling. I'm gonna be a slave in the morning. I saw that I was cracking up. I'm afraid to go to sleep. If I wake up, I'm gonna be a slave. Some just dumb shit. Like the 4B, right? Some of the sisters out there saying, okay, the 4B movement, we're gonna do it. We're not giving you no sex. We're not having no children. And then we're gonna say, you mean all we had to do was put Trump in office? And you guys would find virtue again?
We should have voted for him years ago. Then.
Oh, that's right. We should have voted for him 100 years ago. Hey, what's going on, man?
If that's all it took for y'all to keep y'all damn legs closed was for us to vote for Trump.
You should have voted for him 100 years ago. You know what you're talking about. You ain't doing us no favor.
Hey, Payne, can you do me a favor? Can you go back to the map portion? Can you go back to the map portion?
Okay, sure.
I just want to look at something because I'm looking at the states with the highest black population. I'm looking at Georgia, Maryland, obviously DC, Louisiana, and it looks like Mississippi has the highest black population. So, he won Mississippi, he won Georgia, but I'm in Maryland. He didn't win Maryland. He didn't win DC. You know what I mean? Like, so even if we're talking about a 100% vote, we got to take into the Electoral College. How much would that have changed? I don't know how many votes Mississippi gets or Georgia gets, but would it have really stopped him from getting to 270? And I don't believe that to be true. Even if she would have had 100% of the black vote, I think he still gets to 270. I think it's closer, but he still gets to 270.
He still get it's no doubt about it. I mean, I didn't do the additional ones because they had some maps that had the amount of electoral votes and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't go down to that fine level, but I could. But I'm almost certain that he would have still won. Go ahead, TJ.
If it was spread out over Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, she would have won.
She needed the battleground states. She needed the battleground states. 100%.
Yeah. She would have won. It would have been very close, but she would have won by the plaque on her teeth. So, but she would have still won. But he would have won he still would have won the popular vote. So but Wisconsin doesn't have a large percentage of blacks in Wisconsin. I know because that's my home state, and neither does Michigan. So because Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin are very similar in population, in culture, in voting usually. You know what I mean? So, but if it was spread out amongst those battleground states, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, if she would have held those or took those.
So let me just say this one thing before. Let me say this before Rick goes. Listen, 100%. They never got 100%. So where we are now, right? With the 21% and the 7%, right? Let me go up here. The 7%. So let's just say that's the best that the Democrats are going to do now. Now, because I expect 4 years from now, if Trump is just reasonably successful, that the black male vote for conservative won't be for Trump. It's going to have to be for somebody else. Will be more than 21%. I'm thinking it should be over 30%.
Yeah,
especially if the jobs come and that thing. I don't think the black woman might get to 10 to 12% because it's going to be tough to get them off the plantation. They're not going to get off by anybody talking to them. They're going to have to just come to their own, revelations to say, you know what? It ain't cool the way our lives are once they're 40 and 50 years old and nobody's checking for them.
No, they're going down with the Titanic, Mr. Payne.
They're gonna go down.
Well, our sister's so damn stubborn. It don't make no sense.
Yeah, they're going down.
Ooh, they stubborn.
They're the band playing as the ship go down. That's our women. That's what's going on.
They continuously vote against their best interests.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to tell y'all, it's just what it is. What's up? First of all, peace, Mr. Payne. Good work.
How you doing, man? Thanks for coming
TJ,
up, man.
But you know who I'm here. My boy Trey, what's good with you, my guy?
What's up, big dog? How you doing, brother?
It's good to see you, man. Everything's everything, man.
Yeah.
Just got back from vacation, so everything's good, man. First and foremost, y'all know I got to do it till y'all told y'all. So I told you, I was going to dog walk this woman. I told y'all. I keep trying to tell y'all, this really not about politics because I keep saying, and I'm going to say it again. Both sides understand what the game is. We not little kids no more. We not these 19 and 23-year-olds with these fake ideals about how the world works.
We understand.
We all know what's going on out here. If you don't, I feel sorry for you. These politics it's not about politics. It's a vote for ideals at this point. It's a vote for ideals. And let's just say what it is, because everybody want to keep dancing around it. The Democrats believe in murdering babies, homosexuality and lesbianism, transgenderism, and a welfare state. Every man that worked his whole life shouldn't be voting for welfare.
There you go.
Like I keep telling y'all say these things and y'all try to say y'all have these positions. Y'all simply let me know what y'all belief system is. Democrats, they look, this woman had $1 billion and she's still 20 million in the hole. Don't that sound like most women?
Uncle Rick, I literally posted that this morning.
This what y'all don't understand. Women, you guys, most women that lead a decent life, right, a good life, have a man that is there as her safety net. A wife is able to make dumb and rash decisions because she has a husband who maintains the base of a home. These are a battle of ideals. And you guys believe in bullshit, but y'all sit up here and keep trying to tell us, oh, I'm about this. No, y'all about evil. I don't care what nobody say. Evil starts with selfishness. It starts with being selfish. And most people, is it fair for me to assume, in the Western world are selfish? No matter what y'all say about Donald Trump, and shout out to my boy Kasim. I seen what he said in the chat about the first day, and he letting the cops ran rampage. I ain't no criminal. I'm not no criminal. So why do y'all worry about these things that really don't affect y'all on a day-to-day basis? Because it's the way you feel about something. It's the way y'all feel about something, bro. The stock market already raging, and if y'all do like I asked y'all to do and start investing into these stocks and crypto, you would have made money just off that man being elected.
That's right. That's right.
I don't understand. Y'all supposed to be grown folks, but then the sister Shahrazad Ali did say most black women are stunted at 14, so I kind of understand that too. right? And we can't keep trying to exclude these brothers, right, who move the same way the black females do.
Yeah, that's because they were trained by the black females.
Why? These are the things we're not talking about. Every man, if you about your business, understand it's a sacrifice. You're sacrificing yourself for the betterment of someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it works. That's why it's called a family, not related. Not that I know you, my family. My family is the responsibility to me. That's why you think Trey ain't married, because he understands what the responsibility of him being a woman and being a father and a husband is. And he's not willing to give it away willy-nilly.
Mhm.
Y'all say y'all want husbands, y'all say y'all want men, but when men make the decisions and put the cap on and say I'm the captain, now y'all want to fight? And let me say this right here, right? Why y'all ain't hollering at y'all white girlfriends, sisters? Y'all sisters in power, the sisterhood that black and white women are together in unity as one. I told y'all, white woman is not gonna vote no black woman, whatever y'all want to call her, today in office. Hey, Mr. Payne, ain't it funny how I'm always right, but everybody always saying I'm a liar?
I got you, man. It's true. It's true. But you know what? Only thing I would say is some of us are trying to blame the white women. Like they're surprised. I don't think the white women ever did anything different than what they did today. I mean, on election day.
Our pain. These white women used to go out here and march for feminism and then go home to their husbands.
That's right.
They ain't changed nothing. They haven't changed nothing. They're doing what they always been doing.
Yeah, the black woman on this chart I have up here,
and then going home and asking their husbands, "What should we do? What should I do?"
Well, let me say this, Rick. I know if you want to go on again, this chart up here shows, right? It shows me that black women show their contempt for black men based on the way they vote. I mean, look at all the rest of the women and everybody else. There is some understanding that you should be somehow in lockstep or covered by the men that you're supposed to be with.
Right, but
no such thing
again, why are we playing like this is new though? Cuz
hey, Simon, you can't come up unless you're on video, brother.
That's the whole thing I'm getting at, right? Look, man, he who finds a wife, it was supposed to be easy, right? But it's not easy to find a good wife, right? The truth of the matter is a lot of these women are rebellious by nature. We keep trying to say that these things are trained up and these are the experience. Well, my mama didn't have a job and she sent me to have education so I could be a strong, independent. No, these women are rebellious by nature. They're rebellious by nature. It's against them to be under a man. Right? So, like I said, it's not even them. My thing is 77% of black men still vote the way they women vote.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this brings into the conversation when they say matriarchy doesn't exist. Again, I'm always wrong. Everybody else take the talking point and use it after I done it and said it 6 months ago, right? Didn't I say, Trey, that the black community been a matriarchy?
Yep. You always say it.
It's been a matriarchy.
When y'all hear that, oh, the patriarchy, that's the white woman's argument because the white man actually runs their household on average.
Yes.
Right.
I keep trying to tell y'all, didn't nobody go against Big Mama word. And when Papa said something, he said it to, you didn't know because him and Big Mama, they talked in private, right?
He just enforcing her shit.
Right? So again, how is it that continuously that we continue we get blamed when we do, we get blamed when we don't?
Uncle Rick, I want to tell you something before I run off of here. I want to tell you something I work in a female dominated sector. I work in healthcare. 3 weeks ago, I'm working in the intensive care unit, right? Was 4 sisters and 3 white women. All night long, these sisters were sitting there complaining and bitching about their men and what they don't want to do. And the white women were sitting up there, yeah, girl, big up in them and shit like that, right? At about 5 o'clock in the morning, we get off at 6. So about 5 o'clock in the morning, a couple of sisters approached the white women and say, hey, we're going to go out to breakfast. Y'all want to come with us? Guess what the white women said? I got to go home and cook. I got to go home and make breakfast and pack my husband's lunches. All the white women said that. I fell out laughing. I said to them, that's what y'all funky asses get. Sit up there, commiserating with these women. They're sitting up there juicing you up, but they didn't work 12 hours. They're about to get off, go home, make breakfast and a lunch for their damn husbands before they go to bed. And y'all put to go, all y'all got kids, but y'all put to go out, y'all put to fucking go out to breakfast and talk some more shit.
And TJ, it's while they're nurses and their husband works construction.
Damn. Uncle Rick, what the fuck you know? Damn, yes.
You see what I'm saying? I live life, bro. I keep trying to tell y'all I have no reason to lie. My lying days are way behind me, bro.
Our women would have sit there and bitch about having to work with their man, and these white women go to work gladly to work for the family.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the lost generation, man.
Right, because we all supposed to be fighting for the same goal, but it's funny how in our households it's two. You got to fight to get on one road.
Nah.
Right, and like I said, these things are simply a microcosm of what we experience in our relationships and familial setups. Right, like I said, we gotta stop. The truth is, if you're not on your plan, you on somebody else's.
There you
right?
go.
And that's what our men has to start understanding, right? If you're not doing your due diligence and making what you want to see happen, then you're working for someone else, right? And I just don't understand that. You can't find a person, you can't find a mate, black women, black men, however you want to say it, because you're not willing to either compromise or come to a compromising solution for both of y'all to work. But like I said, it's not even about everybody getting their way. A man's going to always sacrifice more in the relationship. That's just what I believe. You guys can say whatever. That's just what I believe, right? But at a minimum, you can't require me to lead and then don't listen. You can't require a man to lead and then don't follow his rule and his judgment, because then there's nothing to talk about. And this is what they demonstrate. But like I said, man, I told y'all Trump was gonna whoop this chick, man. They didn't like her. They didn't like her in 2016. They don't like her now. I told y'all what they did is they forced Joe Biden out, and Joe didn't want to go. That's why Joe been dropping bombs. Any other time, y'all didn't hear nothing from Joe when they was letting him run, did you?
No.
Y'all didn't hear nothing from Joe. Joe will pop in and out, hit Trump, you know what I'm saying? Soon as they pushed Kamala into place, he was like, all of a sudden he started falling and tripping over shit more, you know what I'm saying? He became super shaky. He became even more shaky than he was, saying shit out of pocket, man. They knew what they did, man. But the truth is, Biden probably would have had a better showing better showing politically than Kamala did.
Sure. I think so.
So again, man, y'all, like I keep trying to tell you, y'all keep asking for y'all gonna get what y'all want. Y'all gonna get what y'all want, boy. I'm telling you before God, y'all gonna get what y'all want. And y'all, it's not gonna be pretty, bro. It's not gonna be pretty. Y'all gotta understand whether y'all understand that this country is a company or a business or not. It was built upon certain moralities and certain understandings. And you guys are okay with those moralities changing.
So let me ask you something, Rick and Trey, both of you guys. And I know we covered a little bit. What kind of analysis should we do on the 77% of black men who are still refusing to get off the plantation? Are there? I know all their reasons are not the same, but what kind of reasons do you think are the majority of why they stay? Is just because they're still sucking on the tits of their wives and mothers, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, and I find it quite funny too that the black men were getting the blame. There is no other group of men that were more locked in step with their women than black men. You look at that statistic right there, right there. Black men were more like in lock and step with the women than any other group, and they still want to blame black men. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. Listen, I come from a single mother household. I come from a matriarchy. My grandmother runs the family, always has. I come from it.
Right.
And I can
So
remember the first times where I started to get a little hair on my nuts and tell my family, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And the looks on their faces as it's like, wait a minute, nobody said you could ascend to power. I just kind of took it, Uncle Rick. I didn't really ask. I just kind of took it like I'm a man, my uncle passed away. I'm next in line, I'm the next oldest. It's me now. You know what I mean? And then when the money started rolling, you really couldn't tell me nothing then. And so I think a lot of it is our pain is just, as Uncle Rick said, a lot of these families are led by women. And there are a lot of women who influence sons, nieces, nephews, right, cousins on who to vote for and how to vote. And I mean, we're looking at MSNBC. Joy Reid is on there talking about how to deal with your family in the upcoming holidays if you didn't vote the way that it. What are we talking about? That's ridiculous. It's
yes.
utterly
Yeah.
ridiculous. You can be family members with someone that you don't necessarily agree with in politics. They're still family. But this is the idea of listen, when you got me preaching about nuclear family, I know something's going wrong. Because I'm looking at it, I'm going, since when do we do that? We break a family apart because somebody voted against what you don't like. So now we're not gonna get together on Thanksgiving now. We're not gonna celebrate the holidays like we've always done because I voted a different way this time because I didn't do what Big Mama told me to do. I didn't do what Mimi or Gam Gam or whatever they call it.
Whatever you call it.
She told me to do. You
It's
know what I mean?
crazy.
Like that's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. And yeah, like I said before, our pay 1.5 million is a good start. But that number's got to get up to 8.5, 10 million for it to really matter. For it to really matter of black men actually saying, listen, this is what we need to be it's got to be independent. And it's got to send a message to politicians in the future. You got to come earn our vote.
Right.
Because 77% still indicates we're just going to follow the norm.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
again, to me, it's like, and I think we had this conversation before. I don't think people understand how difficult it is for a man to break his programming, to become something he never saw or believed he could be. It's difficult. It's difficult, and that's the problem, right? You gotta be willing to do the ugly work, right? The truth is, a good man is never really liked. I told y'all this. Because a
Yeah.
good man is not gonna tell you yes every time. He's not gonna allow you to make mistakes that could break the family. He's not gonna do that. And unfortunately, our women have a problem with being told no.
That's true.
They have a problem with that. And something else I wanted to point out, right? Like y'all see in the chart, and y'all stated that black men were mostly lock in step. 77% of the vote went to Democratic for the black men, with 91% of their vote going Democratic for the women that voted, right?
Right.
So 7%, right? But they choose to focus on the 7% that went against them, not the 77% that rolled with them, right? They
Right.
always want to attack the extremes. The extremes, right? So like I keep saying, man, it's over with. Hope has nothing to do with this thing we have at play when it comes to the black family. It's over with. Consider yourself lucky if you find someone who can move in the same way that you move and believe in family, and to raise your children so they can become, better humans. That shit is over with. Most people nowadays have children because of accidents or accessories. Take your pick. Y'all don't care about no kids. Y'all say y'all do. Y'all don't care. Y'all say y'all care about the black family. Y'all say y'all do. But it's funny that culturally, everything that our people do actually negates the black family.
Absolutely.
The coming together of a man and a woman to build that. It's funny how everything that they believe in negates that. It goes against the very morals of it. competition when it comes to money, when it comes to status and clout. Can't even agree on the same political ideals, if that's what you want to call them. Y'all tell me. Since I'm fear mongering all the time and oh, you stressing out, Okarick, oh, don't have a heart attack, OG, y'all tell me.
Oh, you know what?
Hey, Payne, I think one of the this most discouraging things that I heard come out of all of this is hearing black women say, I hope the police shoot you and delete y'all since they're gonna get immunity. And it's gonna be open season on that.
Yeah,
That kind of just, I was just like, really? Like that's
and Trey, what's crazy, right? They believe they're not victims to the same things that we go through, right? But then
absolutely.
when a woman gets shot by the cops, then it's where the black men to protect us at. Will somebody make this make sense to me?
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I try to.
Didn't we just have a big case with
Yes.
the chick in the hot water this year?
And Trey, that's what I'm saying. We talk
Right.
about things here, but then when we go past it, everybody act like it didn't happen, like we didn't discuss it or talk about it on these very panels that we sit on to enjoy ourselves when we get from home from work at night. That's what's crazy to me. Right? They say, look at Trump's reaction. Again, check the timeline, right? Oh, Trump's reaction to the pandemic. Well, wasn't Trump the first one to say lock down a country so these people from Europe don't get in here?
Yeah, his first instincts were right. He should have trusted it. He should have stuck with it.
Right? Didn't Trump, like I said, I covered these things. When they say Trump, he mishandled the pandemic. I remember looking at this on the news, and if y'all want to tell the truth, y'all know how Trump handles reporters. When it was March, and I remember this specifically because my grandson had a wrestling tournament in Arizona that we went to.
Okay.
Right? He had a wrestling tournament. And it was all crazy. You know, everybody was starting wearing masks. And if you anything like me and my wife, we people watch. You know what I'm saying? We were tripping. You know what I'm saying? We're like, she got a mask on, but she coughing in a mask, so she gonna stay sick. These people stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how we do. You know what I'm saying? We sit and we talk, right? And I'm telling my wife, I was like, watch by the time we get back from this tournament, it's gonna be crazy. It's actually, and they actually did it and canceled the tournament, right? They canceled the tournament because COVID had went crazy. And I remember when we got back home and we watched the news, and they was having a press conference. You know how they do, done, the press secretary, all that stuff, right? And the press asked Trump, why didn't you handle this different? He said this, and I quote, they told me that this wasn't a big deal. They told me that this wasn't a big deal. Now, who's the they? I'll give you 3 guesses, but you only need 1. Right? So again, everybody, this is what social media does to people, right? Everybody talks about the pussy and dick and all that shit and the options. Well, the real thing that social media does to people is it shortens their attention span. So it's harder for everybody to retain information, right? Because there's no news cycle. There's no news cycle. There's no retainment, right? You see something, it go crazy, it go viral, boo, boo, boo. You hear about it. The next day, it's something new viral, boo, 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 right? That affects the way you memorize stuff. And we've become a society of moments, not history. History doesn't exist anymore. We're a society of moments. People are getting killed for clout. Getting killed for clout. Stupid stuff. Because everybody want to blow up, right? Because everybody's living in the moment. No one's looking to us tomorrow. This is the first time the Democrats look to us tomorrow. Y'all know that, right? Now that Trump in office, now it's, oh, such and such, right? No, he's going to do this. He's going to deport these people, right? He's going to now everybody want to look forward, right?
That's funny.
Right? But
That's
nobody was looking forward, right? Nobody was looking forward when they lied to y'all about the job markets and the numbers, right? Nobody was looking forward when the Fed was supposed to drop. They should have dropped the rates at the beginning of the year, not the summer. Right? Because y'all didn't have to know about that because they was in office. But like I said, y'all, hey, if I'm wrong so much, y'all tell me.
No, you know, I tell you what, it's all good. I mean, every so often we need to just kind of lay it bare for people to hear. And people, like you said, some people are going to retain information that they want to retain and forget the information that they don't agree with. I mean, it just happens, right? And then you go on to the next thing. I just think that I would like to say we're at a crossroads, but we're going to need to have some more time to figure it out. And then shit might go back, right? Because again, the population is kind of fickle. All right. I mean, it's fickle. I mean, we see the electorate made a great decision by not putting Harris in. Maybe it was an easy decision, but every so often when you put people together, they do stupid shit. Just happened to be a good decision, you know, for the country, right? And it was the common man said, "Yo, you know what you're doing, Democrats, is something we can't get with." You know, so now over the next 4 years, it's Trump's to mess up. And then it's for the Democrats to come up with a new ruse. And that's what they're working on. What's the new ruse, right? They're already starting to talk, you know, forgetting about the black woman. They're already talking about how we're going to get these Hispanic people to be more, you know, like the blacks. That shit ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, and even the immigrants coming in, they may have some surprise there. They think we're going to just feed them money and they're going to vote for them, you know, so that might happen. Yeah, Trey said he had to leave. So anyway, I don't know. I mean, I was just going through these things to say we had a few good black men decided that they want to get off the plantation. That's what the title of this show is. And it turns out to be 1.5 million of them. That's that 21%. Now that's, you know, I mean, it's not, like Trump is right. I mean, Trey is right. It'd be nice if it was over 5 million. But you could do a lot of shit with 1.5 million men pointing in the right direction. I think so. You know, I think so. As long as we don't lose the momentum. You know, so that's the key. How do we keep the momentum going before some of them get weak and revert back?
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's always that people who think independently are always going to be the minority. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
As a whole, I think the country really is just ready to get back to doing good business. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think that's the biggest thing is that everybody's just looking to get back to good business. I don't think America has a working problem. I think America has a compensation problem.
Okay, I'm sorry. If you hear that.
No, you're right, boss.
Yeah.
Like I think it has a compensation problem. I think people don't have a problem working as long as they can you know, take care of their families. Like I said, we all got to eat. You know what I mean?
Right.
That people could take care of their families, and I ain't gonna say live comfortably because that's, you know, that's subjective depending on what you consider comfortable is. But, you know, be able to take care of their bills and go on vacation every once in a while, feed their families, things of that nature. I think I can't even say I'm sorry for this anymore because the writing's on the wall. I think it's gonna take like a extension, you know, a existential event. It has to be something like a war, something like that. You know what I mean? Something crazy for black people to actually, you know, say to themselves, especially black men, to say to themselves, hey, this, you know, what's been working ain't the way. You know what I mean? I just think it's not for everybody.
You know, so let me ask you this question though. In the times, let's say black men want to marry black women to the rate of 85%, right? They say that. But it's really not a tenable situation because It's really not, you really don't have slim pickings, especially if you want to start your own family. Forget about the baby mamaism and the stepdad. I mean, some guys that actually have good reasons why they just want their own legacy. Doesn't have to be that way, but that's the way it is, right? But I just think that, we're going to start seeing more and more brothers who are getting on their square dating outside of the race because they can't find nothing inside, or that's not going to matter. Or you think that's going to matter? Or is it already happening?
I don't ever, because again, I believe that most people are attracted to people like them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think the numbers that we're looking at now will probably be the tops. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I honestly think, again, this is my opinion. I might be wrong on, because it's just my opinion, right? I believe that most black men want to marry black women.
I believe,
But,
85%,
right,
they say.
right. But the thing is now, it's just that it's kind of like going to Vegas a lot. You know what I mean? After a while, you learn, hey, I'm gonna play this machine till however long, then I'm gonna jump off and go see if I can win somewhere else. You know what I mean? But I think right now, especially with the way the money is set up, the way the economy is set up, it's too risky for men because it's hard enough taking care of themselves. You see what I mean?
Yes.
It's hard enough being able to survive. And like I said, be comfortable depending on what you believe that is within your state of finance, right? And be comfortable. And then it's too risky to put that to risk that with a woman. And I totally understand what the sisters say. Well, some of y'all ain't got shit to take in a divorce. That's you goddamn right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that you're proving our point. You understand what I'm saying? You're proving our point, because either way, people hate starting over. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah,
Everybody, just
absolutely.
pick up. No, people, I hate moving, and I hate starting over. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with
So
you. I'm with you.
so that makes the point even more valid, that why should men, especially, no matter what y'all say, no matter what y'all do, he's expected to carry the load, right? Or let's say y'all 50-50, whatever, right? Let's say that's ideal, and that's what you say what your relationship is. But it doesn't matter, because when shit hit the fan, you're gonna
Right.
look at that man to save y'all. When
Absolutely.
shit hits the fan,
Absolutely. That's why there's no such thing as real 50-50.
exactly
The
my
man
point,
is
right?
always going to have to do the extra step, man. And that's just, and I think that's the way it should be. Now, so what I'm saying is part of the calculus, I think, for a guy looking for a wife has to be, is she amenable to not even 50, just being available as part of the financial infrastructure of the house, right? Because it
Right.
doesn't make, to me, it does. So you got to look for the kind of woman who has a mindset like that.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, I don't want to be tainted just by the internet, because there got to be sisters out there who understand better. They can't all be these, hyena class that we hear.
They are right, but they, like I said again, my shit is circular because it's true, and I said this here. The reason why they won't, because they wasted on the one person they shouldn't have been with in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
That's
now
it.
that wall is built up already. That distrust is built up, and not just the distrust, but the lessons that they fought against, that their mothers and their aunties and their friends taught them about being financially independent, and his money being your money and your money being your money, and all this other stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I said, we say we want families, but the teachings and culture that our people reside in says everything against family.
Them.
Right? It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't, because it didn't matter to me that my first baby mother did X, Y, Z. Right? I still had to be financially responsible, right, with my wife, right?
Right.
Why don't we get that excuse? You can't, because you're a man. Because at the end of the day, just like me and you said, right, when it come down to it and the rubber hit the road and it get real, everybody's going to be looking at you to fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
Easily.
Let me say this though, Rick, Uncle Rick, about this. You might be asking out there in the chat why we're talking about this particular issue and what does that have to do with voting. It has everything to do with the way you vote. It's because it's a battle of ideology, right? There's an ideology that says all that crooked shit is the way we're supposed to live. And then it's conservative kind of like, and people are voting for the party that allows them to run willy-nilly. right? And has no morals, no culture, no nothing. Just, whatever you feel as an individual is okay. And then we'll come protect you if you're stepping on the rights
Exactly.
of the person who wants to
And
go
that
straight.
and that's the biggest problem, if
Yeah.
you ask me, in my opinion, right? Again, men don't have these safety nets that the women that are women have,
Right.
right? If y'all really wanted to get down to the brass tacks, cut all these social programs and let's see you have stuff going on, right?
That might be what they're really afraid of Trump for.
Right. But
But
like I
some
said,
of these things
it doesn't bother me. I could care less if they cut food. I could care less. You understand what I'm saying? I get up. I've been working since I was 14 years. I'm probably gonna work to the day I die.
I'm hearing.
You understand what I'm saying? This is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. These are the things that we don't want to admit, bro, that we don't talk about that really goes on. You niggas like being baby, bro. Do y'all think I like getting up every day of my goddamn life and going to work when I can lay back and get a check and spend food stamps? But that's not it.
Hey, Mandrell, can you come on camera? Because this, we got new rules over here. I can't break them.
That's not it, right? We supposed to be men.
Right.
And if you a woman, like, I don't understand these things. Like when a woman tell me she don't know how to cook, you not a woman. Don't women like to cook? I was taught that women enjoy cooking, that they love making meals for their family, even if they were single mothers. They love feeding their children the right nutrition that we could, at least within reason, in this goddamn country where the food all messed up. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I hear you.
Oh, I don't want to clean up. You a woman? You don't like a clean house? You don't like the smell of Pine Sol? You want people to come into a dirty house? This is like I said, these are arguments of ideals that we have, Brother Payne.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Hey, Mandrell, listen, man. Both of you guys, we're gonna come down to final thoughts soon because I know we got a 9:30 coming up. What's up, man? How you doing, Mandrell?
What's up, fellas? What's up, Rick? How's it going, man?
Bro? How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm feeling what you last saying, man. I mean, because I'm listening to this, I'm like, you know what? I actually get tired of cleaning this place. Like my wife loves to clean. The place looks like a fucking museum. Pine Sol smells all the time. Like I even had to get on her. Look, why are you mopping the floor again? Like I just let her have it. Yeah, you gotta just let her have it. It's clean.
Don't never take a woman's work from her.
You know right. It's
clean.
Work
from her.
She clean it. Let her have it. You know what I'm saying? Laundry, something in the washer and dryer every day. I'm like, how? We can't be using that many clothes and towels and rags and stuff. What are you cleaning? You know what I'm saying?
She's a wife, bro. You see
that? Wife, man.
Yeah.
A wife.
I'm like, what are you cleaning? You know what?
And it's what these I stress to call them women because you're not a woman, right? The same way y'all can sit up here and say, well, that's not a man. If I'm a man who enjoys women, I should be able to say that's not a woman. Y'all not women. These are not things you guys embody.
Mm-hmm. So, but what you got on the topic, man? You got something on the election, man? Where did you?
Yeah. This is something that I called. I mean, it was the writing was on the wall with it. It really was. And it's like you probably heard me say before, Kamala was marketed to us. The whole campaign was nothing but a commercial.
Right.
But there's no substance because she ran a shit campaign. Terrible campaign.
She was a bad Marvel movie from the beginning.
Right. She absolutely. Because Ricky, if you remember that debate where everyone said, "Oh, okay, Joe, what's going on? You ain't all there." Less than a week before that debate, Kamala was the laughingstock of the Democratic Party.
That's right.
There were even talks coming out of the White House that Biden was thinking about taking her off as his running mate for this election, and running with someone else. He was actually thinking about it. But yeah, she was just a bad candidate. Trump was clearly a better candidate, regardless of how you think about it. You know what I'm saying? He came off better. You know what I'm saying? And if you served in defense, like U.S. military, especially in special operations like I did, I can tell you firsthand, like I was not a Trump supporter when he first ran against Hillary. I wasn't a Hillary supporter either. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, when he got elected, that's when he took the shackles off of us and let us do our job. And in 2 weeks, Rick, ISIS was done.
I know.
2 weeks. Like we said, wait, we can actually go to work? We can do our jobs? Yeah. Got it. Done. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we just annihilated the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then this whole thing, the border that he's been going on and on about, he's absolutely right. Because there are terrorists here, and I do mean here. I'm not trying to fearmonger or anything like that, but they really are by the thousands already here in the United States. And they have legal travel papers. They have legal passports. Because the guy who created the whole suicide bombing thing, the grandfather of all that, he's now like either president or vice president of. Why I'm not remembering it today, I don't know why. Any other time I can tell you his name and what he does off the top of my head. Today, for some reason, drawing blanks. Anyway, he is now giving legal passports to members of Al-Qaeda, who we are now funding, by the way. We're also funding Hezbollah because Biden gives a lot of money to Iran, and Iran funds Hezbollah, Hamas, other terrorist organizations. You know what I'm saying? So indirectly, we're funding these clowns, and we know it. You know, so there's a lot of things when it comes to our national defense and geopolitics that the Democrats just flat out screwed up, especially the whole deal with the southern border, man. It's just, that's a big no-no. We're so vulnerable, and the next attack is going to be far bigger and worse than 9/11. Far worse. They're already here. How are you going to get them out? Their papers are legal. And you don't know they're here because they crossed the southern border. But if you check them, they got legal passports. But there's no record of them coming into the country. So there's nothing. How do you throw them out even if you catch them? Do you know what I'm saying? So I mean, that paperwork's legal.
Well,
you don't know how. Well, what I mean by that is you don't know how long they've been here.
Right. So
you can't tell them, well, you've been here too long, so it's time for you to leave. You don't know how long. They could tell you, I've been here 2 days. You now have to go by what they tell you. If they get caught, that's if.
That's it, man. I don't get what people don't understand about.
Well, yeah, we got the guy in office. He said he's going to try to do something about it. So let's.
And listen, here's the thing. He needs to, and he is. My thing about this whole, I heard you guys talking about the black people in the Democratic parties and all that stuff. Here's what gets me about that, and I always never understood is that, okay, by and large, I'm talking about in the 99 percentile, black people are conservative.
Exactly.
It's a reality that people just refuse to accept. Come on, you go to church. We think about how your grandma went to church 4 or 5 days a week. You know what I'm saying? She's in church, and they pump Christian conservative values in us at a very young age. You know what I'm saying? These are conservative values. Most of us are largely Christian. Even Muslim, those are conservative. Islam, Islam, those are largely conservative values. So the black community is a conservative part of our society, and so, but we vote Democrat, which is not conservative. You know what I'm saying? My sister and I did a show when we were doing our show on this network where we went through a whole timeline of events, and we showed people, pointed out the time, the year, and the event that happened. We saw this slow turn from black people supporting the Republican Party to the Democratic Party. We also explained when the Democratic Party changed. Because if you remember, Payne, I'm sure you do, you were alive for this. They used to call them the Dixiecrats.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, your boomer generation, you guys were around for that when they used to call them
black people the Dixiecrats.
Yeah, exactly. And remember when back when they signed the Civil Rights Bill and the Voting Rights Act and all that stuff,
the Indian Rights Bill,
right? That's when the president said, "Okay, now when I sign this is going to mark the end of the Dixiecrats," and he was right. He called it, and that's when black people, because all those racists, the people who hated black people, they switched. Because they signed those bills in favor of black people to give us the right to vote and equal rights and all that stuff. And that's when a lot of those people left. But now they've been largely quiet. And I don't think Trump is a racist. Trump just played a smart game when he first ran. When he was saying all that crazy stuff, all the racist dog whistles, what he was going for is that part of America who lives in the mountains and in the country, who don't vote, didn't care about voting. And that's because they feel like they had no one representing them. He manipulated those people into thinking he was on their side. That's why he was saying all the dog whistle language. He just got them to come out the mountains and voted. That's why when that first vote against Hillary, he won. It was manipulation of those people. They're soft-minded anyway, people. Come on. He's an elitist. He doesn't care what your race is. Can you make him money? Can you do the job? That's what he cares about. He doesn't care what your race is.
We're gonna have to go through final thoughts here because I gotta get out of here in the next 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
All right. So I don't know. You got anything? While you're here, you got anything more, Mandrell? Then I'll let Uncle Rick go. Then.
Yeah, be on your guard. Go get a gun license. Go to the range. Take a firing lesson. Take lessons on how to shoot, because you people don't know how to shoot. I'm in the range all the time, and I outshoot cops, FBI agents. I outshoot them all by far and away. And okay, these people. There's more to firing a gun than just buying a gun and some bullets. Find out what bullet. You don't know what grain of bullets you're using. You don't know if you're using full metal jackets, braided ammunition. You don't know anything about the bullets you're buying, let alone the gun you're firing. It's just a 9mm. People, educate yourselves. It's important. Also, when it comes to this, don't divide families because of different political beliefs. Someone voted for something different than you did because they had their reasons. Remember, family is still family.
Absolutely.
Always keep it together. That's it.
All right, Rick, what you got?
Hey, thanks, Mr. Payne, for having me up, bro. I appreciate you, man. Always good to see you, bro. Let me tell y'all, like I tell y'all, buckle down, make your beds, gentlemen, take care of your house. Right, that's the only place you can. That's really all you can do anyway, right? And ain't nothing wrong with the hood, but the people in it, right? So y'all be easy, stay safe.
All right, gentlemen. All right, so listen, I appreciate everybody coming up. The chat was lively again today, and so I do have one more thing I want to share.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Mr. Boomer. You're complaining again, like boomers do.
What happened?
Boomers, you're complaining again, like boomers do.
I'm not complaining about anything. Everything is cool.
Boomers are always complaining, RP.
Okay, I got.
Not that you don't have your reasons.
I'm not responding to any more of them Trump cult members. Them people is ignorant.
That's not what I wanted to do. That one is not it. That's the Black Man Unfiltered. Anyway, it didn't work out. Anyhow, man. Listen, I don't need to show any more videos. Hey, listen, thanks for coming up, man. Where you been?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Marriage is keeping you down, huh?
Keep me down? No,
I'm not keeping you down. I mean, keeping you locked down.
It's keeping me locked down, but it's okay. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. So I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Well, this is your first year, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, still in the first year. Well,
yeah, we just got married in February.
All right, so you got honeymoon vibes, man. Still.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. That's cool, man. Any kids in the picture?
Hopefully.
Is that the plan?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the plan.
There you go, man. There you go. Hey, man, enjoy. Let me tell everybody, listen, it was another good show. I appreciate all the commentary. Thanks, man, Joe, for coming up. And your TJ and Uncle Rick and Trey, all the folks in Catalia, Milani, Seek Truth. Edward. Listen, this was pretty cool. Every time I start one of these things, I say, well, got to get the butterflies out, and then we get started. But I think this was a great election for us to learn some things about how we vote as Black people, and I think we need to change some things in the way we do, the way we outlook it. The women, again, you'll stick out like a sore thumb. And I think you guys are backing the wrong horse, especially going into the future. And 79%, 77% of the men are as well. So we need to change that. But Trump has to give us a reason to do that now that he has the helm. So the work still has to be done. So with that, I'm gonna say, good night to everybody, and have a good Monday. Mayhem Monday's coming up next, so stay tuned.
It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like a toy so. It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like a toy so. I hope you're all here for the ride. Come inside, cause it's going down tonight. Only here for one night, no lies. Come and saddle up a ride. Need a yeehaw, you know how here for one night and we just wanna party. In a fast car, a Ferrari. It's a push start, I don't need a car key. Slide on Broadway, and it's gnarly. On a late night, but I'm not tardy. Right on time for the parties and Barbies. Strolling with a truck of green like a golf swing. Hey, 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 hey. Bottles on ice, mess around these skates. Hey, hey, hey. If I gotta say it twice, then I got nothing to say. It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like a toy so. It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like a toy so. I hope you're all here for the ride. Come inside, cause it's going down tonight. Only here for one night, no lies. Come and saddle up a ride. Come and kiss me up, it's going down. Like a train with no brakes, I'm not slowing down. See us showing up, we're showing out. Better pack it in till they kick us out. I'm no nailing them, I'm a lunatic. It's no telling when I get loose a bit. Got my babe, my boo,